So I drive by there. Huh?
I've dropped off and picked up there.
Oh, I've driven
Family
by there
members
like.
or
On- only
self
only
check-in.
once that I visit somebody that I knew there. All right, I'm gonna use the head. I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, man, I listened to the interview today. It was great. Good job.
You did? You listened to the Nissan
I did.
stuff?
Yep.
It was fun, right? It was funny.
Yep. Very good.
Even though they called me Cody like
And
two
yeah,
or three
Matt's
fucking
vulva.
times. Matt's vulva. That was the funniest shit. Matt's vulva.
And yeah, you're Cody now, and I guess I have to call Cody Matt.
I don't know. I don't think either one of us would be happy about that.
Oh, you're Cody 1, and then Cody's Cody 2.
Yeah, all right. Cody with a K.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I didn't want to like trample over like their format too much, but I feel like maybe I did.
No. You're just going with the flow, dude.
Mm. I was telling Cody, like, man, are they jealous that we got sponsors? Like,
Well,
prior,
they've been doing it for a while, dude.
As long as we have.
yeah. But prior to the show, we were just, you could tell they were like, oh, I mean, you got some tires out of it, right? And I'm all, well, yeah, and I got, an Icon suspension. He's like, oh, why don't you tell Jeremy about us or whatever? All right. I ain't got it like that, dude. I still don't have, rims and stuff. So
yeah,
chill out.
Casey and I were talking today, and I was like, yeah, I'm still frustrated with Jeremy not having that taken care of, but.
I texted him on Friday. And I was like, hey, what's up, man? Any word on them wheels?
Who's this?
I'll take. Yeah, exactly who it is.
New phone. That's everyone's number. Who is this?
After you guys saw him at that whatever run that was.
Yeah, LG.
Oh no. Yeah, he's all. You should have. No, it was before that.
Yeah,
the week before.
The one where me and Matt were like, yeah, we'll go, and then okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
He's all, oh man, I'm sorry, I'm ghosting you. Let me, I got to check or whatever. And then I hit him like couple weeks later. I'm like, hey Casper, what's up? Like,
that's all right. I'm still waiting on sweatshirts from Hammers.
Oh really?
Shit.
From the actual organization?
No, from Jeremy.
Give him
sweatshirts
at Hammers. Okay, so we are we're gonna go live. We're gonna kick off with Joe. I've got a script up. Once Joe's done, we'll cut him loose, and then we'll go through. We got some voicemails, some feedback. Oh, we'll talk about Matt's Nissan Matt's Volva, which I don't know if you're. Hold on, real quick. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I don't know if you're watching the live stream, Matt, but your name is Matt's Volva on the on the live stream.
Nice.
So we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about feedback and stuff. Joe, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, we got a review too.
Oh, cool. So we're gonna go live. We are live. So it looks like it went live. Usually you have to press the second button that's live.
Uh-oh.
So are we live? Let's go.
Uh-oh. Coming at you live.
Good thing I didn't say anything negative about Tim.
Yeah, we are live.
All right. Yeah, we don't know what we're doing, guys. So I mean, I don't know if you've.
Damn, dude, Tim he's already at it.
I know. You know what? He's just pissed. He's just pissed off at me. You'll hear his voicemail later. You'll understand why he's mad at me. Don't be mad, Tim. Don't be mad. I just want you when we start talking about Tim's feedback, I want you to picture Dorothy from Wizard of Oz, and picture that scene where the witch is riding the bicycle.
I guess it'll make more sense when we hear the feedback.
Yes, it will. It will. All right, we are live now. All right, you guys ready? Where's my recording? There we go. All right. Oh, I need a notepad. Hold on. I gotta write down.
For what, dude?
Jose's. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, it is 6:30-ish Monday, August 3rd, and we are live on YouTube as we tend to do on Monday nights, and we are also recording for the show. And today we have Joe Kay from Foothill Safety Services joining us, the trail safety guy. He's going to give us some don't die knowledge. We've got Matt's Volva, who is
Hey, when does the money start popping up?
Matt's
I don't
Volva.
know,
We'll talk about.
you know, guys, I was on another show the other night. I don't know if you guys know, and all of a sudden, just money started popping in there. When do we get that?
We don't have that. We don't have that feature at all. So Matt's Volva is joining
Suck.
us over the interwebs because for whatever reason
What about my Volva?
he decided he couldn't be in the studio this afternoon. Jose and I are here in the studio, and you know what, Jose? I gotta say, it's roomier. It's roomier in the studio here. There's so much more room for activities when Matt's not here. I tell you, maybe this is
I like some bicycles.
more bicycles.
More
man.
bicycles.
So we will talk later about the feedback we've gotten on the bicycle episode, and I'm going to tell you that
It was very
we've
unexpected.
we've had more feedback on the damn bicycle episode than any of the other previous 134 episodes.
The only thing
Right.
that would have given us more feedback is if you started crying while reading your own blog.
Yes, while I was reading the blog. And Jose and I have been engaged in multiple conversations about the purchase of the next bicycle for each of us.
You guys are engaged, huh?
Yeah.
You know, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. So with that, Joe, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. You know, making it through the day. We brought you, bringing you back on to do more of your trail safety stuff, to talk about some things that we need to do to not die. And those of you watching the live feed, you'll see Joe's cool new Foothill Safety Services logo he's got up there. That I'm sure that will be appearing on swag in the near future. Or and you've got the new what's the new Instagram handle?
Well, Foothill Safety.
Foothill Safety. So go find Foothill
Instagram.
Safety on Instagram and follow him. And then I'm sure that will lead into all of the other stuff that's going to come after the fact. But
Is he going to give us some bicycle safety tips this week?
Oh,
Like,
that's,
make sure to tie your shoes.
what do I do
Make
with
sure
a
to tie
dislocated?
your shoes, guys,
So-
before you start pedaling.
Cody needs the helmet and bubble wrap.
I
Large
already have the
quantities of
helmet.
bubble wrap.
I already have the helmet. I wear the helmet religiously, and I'm thinking I need to know how to like a dislocated shoulder. I need to figure out how to put that back in, or like a broken collarbone, because I just picture myself going over the end, over the
Stay in it.
frame.
Stay in areas where there's 911 and
Yes.
just push the magic button on your phone.
Okay, I'll do that. All right. Yep. I'm now following Trail Chasers is now following Foothill Safety Services on Instagram. So go find Foothill Safety on Instagram and follow him now, please.
Thank you.
What's the topic tonight, bud?
Tonight we're talking about burns, and not the kind that we throw around. You know, the kind
Burn.
There's a lot
You
of
would get
that on
around
the
the
show.
show.
Burn.
Yeah, so burns come from different sources. They can be a thermal burn, like a heat source, so touching a engine part, or coming in contact with the cooking utensil, or even somebody who decides to fall into the fire. Because sometimes people do things around the campfire late at night that gets them a little
Yeah.
uncoordinated.
Yeah.
So, thermal burns. There's also chemical burns or electrical burns. I'm going to focus tonight on thermal burns. So, for something from a heat source, such as a campfire or a hot engine part or vehicle part.
Or a boiling
but-
water kettle.
Yeah,
And you
that'll
grab
do
it.
it too. So let's talk about like the part of the body that's the most susceptible here is the skin, and that part of the body is there for protection against the outside, so the environment. But it also helps the body maintain its water levels and maintain some hydration. It's there for sensory purposes, things like hot and cold and pain and touch, and it's also there to regulate temperature. Uh, so anytime we have a burn, it's going to compromise the skin's ability to do its job. So
What real quick? What is there a like? What's the temperature at which skin burns? Do we know?
no, that's not really not something that we
When
ever
it's
talk
hot.
about.
No,
When it's
no,
hot.
I know, but I just from a educational standpoint, I was just curious to know, like, how you can touch like a cup of hot coffee, like that's not going to burn, right? What's the temperature there? At what point does the temperature start to melt the skin or invade the skin? That's your
That's a great question.
So everybody in the chat room, that is your Google requirement right now. At what temperature does skin burn? The winner gets a shout out on the show. That's it. That's all you get. I don't have. We're out of swag. I don't have any shirts.
what
I
are
don't have
you-
stickers. I don't have nothing.
Shit.
Yeah. And
I wouldn't care at all.
so, sorry, Joe.
it.
Okay, go ahead.
So I can always count on you guys to come up with some question that I'm not going to answer. I'm just not going to be able to answer. All right. So there's different severity of burns, right? There's traditionally, a lot of people are familiar with the 1st degree, 2nd degree, 3rd degree type burn. There's also some new language that is commonly used. Superficial is a 1st degree burn. Partial thickness is a 2nd degree burn.
Wait, can you repeat
And
that?
then a partial thickness,
Thank
it's like partway through the thickness of the burn, or thickness of the skin. And then there's a full thickness burn, which is what we would traditionally call a 3rd degree burn.
We like those burns here.
The deep ones.
Yeah, the deep ones.
Full.
What is happening? We just started.
What? I don't know. I'm just responding to Jose. I
We
agree.
just started.
Dude,
Third
we do
degree.
like those.
So there's 3 layers of skin: the epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous layer. So a superficial burn tends to just affect the epidermis. The 2nd degree or partial thickness will go through the epidermis into the dermis, and then there's as if it goes through all 3 layers, it gets into the subcutaneous layer, and that's where we get that full thickness or 3rd degree type of a burn. So most people are really familiar with the superficial or the 1st degree burn. It's red, it's painful, and it's as simple as a sunburn.
Yeah.
So that's something that most people are have experience with, and I don't tend to burn often, but when we were out doing those videos for E3,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
Name
got
drop.
scored.
Name drop. When I was
I
featured
can
on
level-
another show that has more followers than this one does.
By like
So
10,000
I
X.
got scored. I did put a little bit of sunscreen on, and that's the best way to actually sunscreen's the best way to avoid that superficial or that sunburn. And I can't emphasize that enough. So the little tangent would be to avoid those kind of exposures while we're out on the trail. Put on sunscreen, cover the areas on your head. If you're follically challenged or shaved like I am, make sure you put something on your head.
Shaved. Like you had to do
Yeah.
much work there, buddy.
But shave's a choice, brother. Shave is a choice.
What's all other choices have been taken off the table for you.
When you have no choice, that's your only choice.
I've got a choice. It's a hole in my haircut, a huge hole in my haircut. So no, I'm shaving it. Make sure you put on sunscreen about 30 minutes before you expect to be in the sun. You make sure your skin's on a little on the warmer side. You don't want to do it when your skin is cold. It absorbs and protects better if your skin's warm. And choose the SPF that is going to serve you best. And that sun protection factor, the SPF, means that if based on that number, that's number of times it's going to protect you to keep you from getting red. So if it normally takes you about 30 minutes for your skin to start to turn red as you're in the sun, an SPF of 10 means it should take it about 300 minutes for your skin to start to turn red. So it's 10 times as long. But there are factors that weigh into that, like if you're sweating or you've been in the pool or you get wet, it can wash that sunscreen off, and you would have to reapply to get those full benefits. So just the more frequently you put it on, and the greater the SPF, it tends to protect you better. And that SPF guideline is more of a guideline than an absolute. So the more frequently you put it on, the better off you are when it comes to protecting yourself from that sunburn.
And going back to SPF.
I have a serious question.
Oh shit! Okay, go ahead.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Look, I don't. How concerned are we about putting lotion? I understand sunblock prevents from the immediate skin damage, but it seems kind of like man, there's no effects. Like toxic effects or something. Like if you're putting
there's effects of lotion. It means your hands don't chafe up and crack like yours do.
Bro, you don't have to worry about sunscreen. You got a canopy of hair that blocks your skin from.
Most orangutan don't worry about sunscreen.
Thank you for that compliment. But I'm serious. Like if like people used to. All right, conspiracy theories. They used to
dude, we're only 5 minutes in.
They used to put Teflon on everything, on cooking surfaces. Surfaces.
Yeah,
you don't see that shit anymore, do you?
Didn't that mess up people for like generations?
Yes. Yeah. Since like the 50s, and now it's like a given thing.
From all the Teflon in the pans, it would get into their system,
exactly,
and so the poop would just slide out. Like they couldn't eat anything; it would just slide right out from the Teflon. I think that's a fact.
I miss those days.
I need that.
Yeah, I miss those. But you don't think there's something similar with sunblock and whatever? What's in sunblock?
Well,
it's not
there
just
was
aloe vera.
There was for a while. There was PABA. There was a chemical in sunscreen called PABA, PABA. That
I didn't ask you. I asked Joe.
Joe, would you like to field this one?
No, Cody, go right ahead.
It rubs lotion on its
skin. All right, go ahead.
So there was a chemical in sunscreen that they used that was called PABA.
I don't believe any of this shit.
Okay, look,
I'd rather ask Joe.
I'm being 100% accurate. So this is late 80s, early 90s, and a lot of people, including myself, would have a really, really bad reaction to the PABA. Like it would make me completely break out.
So you're still having that reaction to this day?
To this day, it made me swollen in 1989. But so after that, because it was such an issue for so many people with so many people's skins, there was a big push for PABA-free sunscreen. So they don't use that chemical anymore because it was causing problems. When I was a lifeguard in high school and I had to put it on, they required sunscreen, I would fully break out. So I just wouldn't put the sunscreen on because it was worse than getting a sunburn. But that's a true legit. I'm not even making that up, Matt. Somebody look that up for me.
PABA.
PABA?
Yeah.
POBA?
PABA.
Ginkgo biloba?
No,
what?
PABA.
Now, let's just say that the sunscreen does more good than it does harm.
Okay.
But in your case, I mean, I might recommend that you just lather up with some baby oil.
Yeah,
because that provides lots of
film
enhancing features.
Let's go back to the conversation.
No, that's so I can be nice and crispy.
Let's go back to Jose's suggestion about your OnlyFans.
Page. Set up your OnlyFans webpage.
And it seals my juices, right? If I get all crispy on the outside, I'm nice and juicy inside.
Yes.
Okay.
And
There it is.
if you're fair skinned like my wife and daughter and sister, so my daughter unfortunately got my wife and sister's like skin tone, so she's close to transparent but not quite. So we lather her up in like 50, 60 sunscreen every time she goes outside because she will just melt. She'll just melt.
Yeah, you know, when we were growing up, Cody, a lot of the like when we go to the beach in high school, the girls that I hung out with, they
What
would
sunscreen,
always
dude?
lather up with
Yeah.
the baby oil, and it was crazy because I mean they'd get fried. And some of them would tan up quickly in a couple of days, but you know that's all they would do is just baby oil
Yep.
to burn their skin. You know, but you know it's appropriate to put on sunscreen, especially with like Cody, you're saying the girls. You know, they're both fair skinned. My mom's the same way. As far as getting them lathered up and protected with that sunscreen, so it's the best thing to do. Uh, you know, because it's avoidable. Sun damage to the skin is very it's very commonly known to cause skin cancer. So you know nobody needs to go down that road. Uh, so you know protect your skin from the sun while we're out on the trail. You know wearing hats, light shirts that are you know cool, even if it's long sleeve, can help you avoid some of those things. Um, but as far as other types of burns, you know a first degree or a superficial burn can be initiated with a hot part or fire or something like that. Anything hot, like the boiling water, that gets pulled over on you. So and that typically is going to present with very red skin and very painful. That's the foundation for that superficial or first degree burn.
I got another
Now,
question. I got another question that's probably going to stump you. But so, what is the appropriate protocol after you get your shit fried from the sun without not wearing sunscreen? So back in the day, it was putting on the aloe vera.
Flush first.
No, when, like, when you get
flush it.
when you get your skin
Put
fried,
it out the sun.
when you get your skin fried, back in the day it was put on the aloe vera gel and try to. But then I've heard that all that thick gel that you put on your skin closes up the pores and doesn't allow them to breathe and cool down. Is there any validity to that?
Yeah, the oils or the gels, that's what they tend to do is hold the heat in. There's the old wives' tale that you know you would put butter on a burn. That's a no go. Typically,
I have to be burned. I have to be burned to be able to do that. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you had to burn
no,
first.
it's a no go for the burn.
Okay,
Your
but other reasons I could just
uses,
smear butter all over
that's
my
up to
body.
you. That's up to you.
Okay,
up to you.
Cool.
Yeah, so I mean, you want to with all of well, not all. In most cases, it's appropriate to cool the burn, and we're going to talk about after we talk about the different types of burns. We'll talk about what we should do to take care of them.
Okay.
But typically with a sunburn, you know, cooling it, rinsing it with cool water, um, is a good thing to do, especially if it's isolated to one part of the body. If you're burned top to bottom from a sunburn, then you know, tepid water would be okay. Like for me, I'd always jump in the shower after a day at the beach, and if I got red, I'd jump in the shower and not take a hot shower, but not take a cold shower. It was just a kind of a medium, and it really would reduce the severity of that burn. Just by the first thing you want to do with any kind of burn is get the person away from the source of the heat and cool them off.
So away from the sun, got it.
Yeah, get back in the truck, get back in the Jeep. You know, have the air conditioner running. That'll help. All right, so when we get worse than a superficial, now we have a partial thickness or a second degree burn. Let me go back to that first degree first. So those kind of burns will typically heal in about 4 to 5 days. I mean, sometimes it could be longer, but it depends on if there's an underlying health issue or anything like that. But typically a first degree burn will go away pretty quickly. If we get into a partial thickness or a second degree burn, now we're talking about something that's going through 2 layers of the skin. That can take longer. Like it can be 5 days, it can be up to 25 days. There's some range to it. Now, a partial thickness burn can be just through the first layer and into the second, or it could be through the first layer and deep into the second layer. So there's some variable to that. Now, the difference here when we look at a partial thickness burn, it could be red, but it could be more of a waxy whitish appearance. So it may look kind of moist. The pain is going to be more intense because it's gotten through that epidermis layer and down into the dermis where the nerve endings generally terminate they're very sensitive to this type of event, so that will increase the amount of pain. And the other thing that will separate a partial thickness from a superficial burn is the presence of blisters.
I was
And
just
before
gonna
you
add,
ask,
like
we're leaving the blisters intact.
okay, so
So you don't pop them.
you don't so
Do
the-
not pop them.
So what about, because you get those when you get the sunburn really bad, you get the almost like Rice Krispie blisters, like all over
Yeah.
so those you just leave, you don't mess it. So that's a second degree burn when you hit blisters.
Yep. Yeah. So
I've
you
done
can
that.
get a
It's not good.
second degree burn from the sun.
I've done it. Don't do it. It's not good. It hurts.
Yeah. I did it when I was a kid. Spent most of the day in the water, paddling around on a boogie board, and the back of my legs fried.
Yep.
So I get it. So if we get even deeper than the partial thickness, now we're talking about a full thickness. So through all 3 layers or into the 3rd layer of the skin, that's what we call, also referred to as a 3rd degree. And some of those can be so bad that they're going to require skin grafts to repair and help the person recover from that. When this
can
happens,
you get a 3rd degree from? I guess you can from the sun, huh?
it's not as common.
Okay.
I think that it could happen. When you if you put together,
You're assuming there's a space too.
A long duration of exposure, as the person dehydrates, it could, but I don't think it's real likely.
Okay.
But the skin tends to becomes more dry. It has more of a leathery appearance. It can have that white waxy look to it. It can also be
So Matt,
dark
so
brown
it looks like
and even
Matt. So
charred.
if you look like Matt, you need to put
Yeah.
some lotion on,
you-
or you have a
if
really
you
bad burn.
If you look like Matt and you've been sitting at the pool or by the riverside, you've been drinking beers all day, and then you passed out, and then your family just left you there, you might look pretty rough.
Yeah.
You might actually get that third degree. You just
Yeah.
might actually get it.
Tim says if you pass out drunk in Undergard, Arizona, you could probably get a 3rd degree.
You probably get a lot of other stuff too. Sounds like it.
He woke up and, like,
Well,
wow,
if Tim's around, you will.
yeah. Hey, that's pretty
Yeah,
nice.
depends on who you're hanging out with.
Somebody put sunscreen on my
Oh, it's
back.
Undergard.
Somebody put sunscreen on my back while I was asleep. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. You could have rubbed it in a little better.
Someone put aloe on me.
That's Undergard,
Oh,
Arizona.
man.
Thanks, Tim.
Well done, Tim.
Man.
one of the
Where's Tim's window
No.
where we can see?
No,
No, never.
never. That'll ruin us forever. Because no one will ever
all
want to
right.
watch us again. They'll just want to watch Tim.
That's true.
Oh, that's true. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, you're
I
out.
agree with him. I agree. Sorry, Tim.
So go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
It's all right. So the one of the unique things about a full thickness burn is that the nerve endings can be destroyed because of the burn, and that will make that part of the injury less painful. Now consider the fact that burns don't tend to be linear, like straight through in a cone. It tends to have more second degree or even a 1st degree on the perimeter of the full thickness burn. So having that type of peripheral injuries often cause the person to have more pain in those areas, when in the center where the 3rd degree is will tend to be less painful because those nerve endings are destroyed.
Yeah, and I would think like industrial accidents with flash burns, electrical flash burns that are acute in a very acute area, happens quickly. Like that just singes the nerves, and that specific area is probably numb. You don't even know it's anything happened. It's not until later that the like you said, the 2nd and 1st degree down the road is what you feel, right? I mean, you've seen people who've been severely burned and they're like in no pain because it's you can't feel anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, yes and no. I've seen industrial incidents where patients have had that arc flash. I had a guy once who was working on our building's main electrical panel, and there was an incident, and it flashed on him.
It was not me. I was not there.
And a lot of his burns were 1st and 2nd degree. None of them were 3rd. But it's because that's a quick flash. I know it's hot. I know it's very intense. But there are, it's usually that's a fast, you know, here and gone kind of source. I want to say that a full thickness or a third degree burn is going to be a significant heat source that they've come in contact with for a longer period of time.
Hey Joe, have you ever
So-
had to help someone that got struck by lightning?
No, and I don't. None of my EMS friends that I'm aware of have either. It's not real common here for us to have
No,
that
you
kind
got to
of
be like in Alabama
response.
or Oklahoma or like one of those like tornado-ridden places where
Yeah,
like
real flat.
yeah,
like
where
just-
and like the same person on the block has been struck by lightning 4 times. Like you know what I mean? You see those things, those news reports.
No, he's like, there's a guy that down the street's like, rain's coming.
yeah, right.
You can't count taser shots as lightning bolts. No, those are totally different.
But
Just
you know
get-
what I'm talking about. You know, there's that one guy in Underguard, Alabama, that is like, well, the third time I got struck by lightning, let me tell you what happened.
Hey, if you're running out of a liquor store and somehow you're shocked and you hit the ground, sometimes that's just getting tasered. That's not necessarily getting, from a bolt from God or something. Though, who knows? I don't know.
Okay, sorry. All right, so burns.
Yeah, so never have I responded to a lightning strike. All right, so so we talked about first degree, second degree, third degree. The different depths of the burn. Now, what are we going to do to take care of these type of injuries? Now, the first thing is one, get the person to a safe place. Stop the burning, remove them from that burning source, and if you can't, then you got to do something to make it safe. So take care of yourself first. You don't want to be injured in the process, and your level of commitment obviously is going to be different depending on who it is you're trying to help. I have no doubt. I have no doubt that if one of our kids were to fall in the fire pit at camp, that any one of us wouldn't reach in and pull them out with very little regard for our own safety in that kind of situation. But obviously, if there's an unfortunate incident where there's a person inside a vehicle and it requires tools and time to get them out of it, there's extrication that has to happen. You guys know that I'll jump in and help anybody at any time. But there's a line there that says I have to be able to get up and go to work and take care of my family. So there are some situations that we're not going to be able to help because it would cause us serious injury or death.
Yeah. So going back to that, so a vehicle that's on fire or whatever, or a person on fire, and you talked about not being able to get them out of safety.
Whatever.
You know what I'm saying? There's a scenario where someone is burning.
Whatever.
Is it okay to douse someone with a fire extinguisher? And Mud Raider just won a fire extinguisher from the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey podcast. He just put it in there. Congratulations. But if you come up on a vehicle that's on fire, you're obviously going to try to put the fire out on the vehicle. Is there any repercussions to dousing a person with a fire extinguisher other than potentially the effects of inhaling it, the inhalant?
I don't know. My bigger concern would be them inhaling it, and some fire extinguishers are filled with things like things that will displace oxygen. Others are there to cool and smother the fire. So you have to know what kind of extinguisher you have, and I wouldn't recommend it. But if they're going to die,
if they're
that's
in
my
a
only
vehicle
option,
and that's your only option, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it as hey, let's just.
So Matt steps in the fire accidentally from drinking too much, and he's running around the fire. I can't just chase him with my fire extinguisher and have Jose film it in 4K slow mo as I'm just shooting him with that would be funny.
It would be funny, and we don't need them to be on fire. We can just do that at camp.
True. Cool. Good idea.
But it looks better. Slow mo, 4K fire and slow mo.
Yes,
is the best.
Maybe if I took a gas bath or something first, and then I was ignited, and then wow, that would be
Or we get Sarah Price to go camping with us, and she can reenact
she's,
her.
done.
Yeah.
That's enough right there.
Go back to the Sarah Price
right.
episode. Go back to the Sarah Price episode and listen to her story about getting caught on fire at a campfire. That was amazing.
Hey guys, let's just that was amazing. Let's just camp on the moon, though. I mean, if we're gonna throw crazy ass shit that'll never happen, let's just go ahead and do that. Yeah, we're gonna 4-wheel the moon, guys.
All right, cool.
With Sarah Price.
Nice.
So
right,
no fire extinguishers. Then what?
Like I said, we want to get them away from the burning source. After that's happened, we want to make sure that we, if we're talking about a hand, or even a foot, because some people wear toe rings. Like we want to remove jewelry from the hands.
Hold on.
Some guys.
Anybody that's going out wheeling with us that is wearing a toe ring, I want to see it before we go on the trail, because we're going to talk about that the entire time we're off-roading.
About feet?
About the toe ring.
I think that's just your excuse for something else.
Yeah, I have a foot fetish.
I need to inspect your toe ring and take a picture
This
of it.
is it's
and-
very critical that we see the toe
For
ring.
safety purposes, we need to inspect it. So we want to make sure we remove any jewelry or clothing from the burn area. So if we have a burn on a hand, there's a ring or a watch or a bracelet, you want to get that off because through the injury process, it can cause some swelling. So we don't want that swelling to occur and have constriction. There's already enough damage. So we want to take that off. Like we talked about during the splinting episode, move it to the other hand, have somebody hold it that's close to that person. Get those things off of the affected area. Now, with minor burns, we can use cool water, clean, cool water to irrigate the burn. And by doing that, it's like what we were talking about with, after having a sunburn, you get in the shower and cool off. Using that cool water will help the burn stop. It'll minimize the damage. It'll relieve some of the pain. It'll reduce the likelihood or the occurrence of swelling. So we want to cool the burn, cool it until the person is like feeling better. And this is typically for minor burns. So maybe a superficial and a shallow partial thickness type burn. So once we've cooled the burn, then we want to apply dry sterile dressings or dry clean dressings. If you jump into your first aid kit, you can use the 4x4 gauze, a 2x2 gauze.
And if you haven't already, real quick, plug to the Outer Limit Supply guys. If you haven't already picked up an Outer Limit Supply first aid kit, everything that Joe's talking about right now is fully in that kit and ready to go. So, I mean, the three of us now have those Outer Limit Supply kits in our vehicles at all times. Matt and
yeah, it's in there.
Is it okay?
All right. Yeah.
And
I'm too lazy to pull it out.
But
whoa,
no, but
hey now,
whoa, when Joe comes on here to talk about those the tools you need to take care of someone in a bad situation, it does make me feel warm and fuzzy to know that I've got all those tools in that kit sitting in the truck and we're taken care of. So if you haven't already done so, go over to Outer Limit Supply and get yourself a kit.
Hey Joe, real quick, going back to like that car burning scenario, I know in the past you had mentioned if you'd have to get consent to help in that kind of situation, like dire situations. Does that go out the window? Like if it's a live or die kind of situation for them? Like, do you still have to do you want me to help you?
Do you have to yell? They're coming right for us.
No, first.
Like because they're melting.
First of all,
I'm
super impressed that you were paying attention.
Yeah.
First of all,
because you didn't mention any consent so far. So,
and that's a very emergent type situation.
Yeah, you talked about the implied consent in those conditions. I listened to.
Well, I expect you to. But Jose's a variable, I would say that in that type of situation, cars on fire, you can hear people inside screaming. Yeah, it's a pretty good indication that it's okay to help.
Okay. So if I get sued, I'm gonna play this back.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
But
like,
Joe
Joe said, you guys needed my help.
Yeah. All right. So
All
apply
right,
the-
He's like, all right.
moving on.
we're going to apply those dry sterile dressings. Now, if we're going to do something very similar, right? We'll use that for the gauze pads, lay it over the burn area, and then we'll wrap the burn area with roller gauze. Again, that's something you'll find in your first aid kits. And that is something we'll wrap, and it'll be snug, just like we did with bleeding control. As we wrapped that bleeding site, this one doesn't need to be as snug. It just needs to. It's there to be a barrier. It's going to act as a replacement for the skin and to keep things out and to keep it protected while we're getting them to medical attention. Now, if it's something that's like a first degree burn, like a sunburn kind of thing, usually, like I said, that'll heal on its own. But if we're talking about something that's deeper with those signs of the partial thickness, that should get checked out because there's some infection and problems that can come down the road if it's not taken care of appropriately.
Yeah. Question on the second and third degree. Is there any concern about putting the gauze on a second and third degree burn, and then when you go to take the gauze off, the skin comes with it? I recall that happening to me as a kid. And is that a thing?
Jesus.
It
Bro, what kind of...
Oh my God, dude! That's neglect, dude. Oh my God!
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
You mean
gauze.
you guys never got burned
Hey,
and then
no,
ripped your skin off?
It wasn't gauze. It was a sock.
Cats come by?
No.
Holy cow, dude! Wow.
So I'll tell the story real quick. I was
Wait, you had a crusty sock?
so mom was gone. I forget. I don't know where mom was. This was
because he sees that. Oh shit! This is gonna be a run.
No, this is a good. This is a good bird story. This is a good bird story. So I had to be 5.
Man.
You know, whatever age. It was pre-8 because we were still in the first house. And whatever age it is, you start making your own peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So
how is there fire involved in a peanut
let
butter and
me
jelly?
finish the story.
It's getting worse for you. But go on.
So dad was outside working. I was inside. I wanted a peanut butter and jelly, and I remember asking Dad, I'm hungry. I want a peanut butter and jelly. And he said, I'll come in and make it in a minute. And I was like, nope, I'm not waiting. I don't know where my mom was. So I climbed up on the counter to walk across the counter to get to the peanut butter.
Walk across the counter.
Yeah, I climbed up onto the counter to get to the walk across to get to the cabinet where the peanut butter was, and all I had on was socks, and I kicked the coffee maker. And Matt, Dad has hot coffee 24/7 at a moment's notice. If you need a cup of coffee, go to my dad's house. He's got it. And I kicked the coffee over, and the coffee fell onto my foot, and then the coffee pot hit the ground and shattered. I fell from the counter down to the floor. Dad comes running in like, what the hell's going on? And I'm screaming, and he grabs my sock and pulls it off. And the top layer of my skin across all of my toes came with it.
My God.
Yeah.
You know what? If the county had showed up right there, it looked like
Yeah, dude.
they hit you with a
CPS would have showed up.
My mom,
or they were pouring it on your foot just to rip that skin off.
My mom
because you
would
were
not
trying
let
to
me
make
wear
it kill.
shorts to school through all of elementary school because she was concerned that CPS would take me away from her because I was so beat up. Like I was scratched and scraped and beat and bruised all my life. She was concerned that someone thought that they were beating me. So Joe, back to my question: are we concerned about the
sounds valid.
gauze?
Those sound like valid concerns.
Is there a concern about the gauze getting stuck to the wound? Is what I'm asking.
There can be a problem with that. On the hospital side, when they're taking care of it, they'll moisten the dressings to get them off. In a minor burn, if you use a wet dressing, I was actually reading up on this in a wilderness guide. In small burns, minor burns, their recommendations are about using a moist dressing on there. But the concern with a moist dressing is, especially in larger burn areas, is that the body's ability to regulate its temperature has been compromised. So a person who has a severe burn or a significant amount of burns can have a hard time regulating their body temperature, and it can make them hypothermic or cold. So using a wet dressing on a burn is not advised under normal circumstances. Uh, so it's not a common practice.
So wet dresses are only good at Senior Frogs on Memorial Day weekend, just so we're clear.
Yep.
And what about any type of cream on the dry dress?
No.
No.
When we're providing first aid, it's going to be a dry, sterile dressing, dry,
Okay.
clean dressing.
Got it.
Yeah. We talked about earlier with the creams. It can in the first aid setting, it can trap the heat
Oh, okay.
and keep the heat there and cause more tissue damage.
Got it.
So when we're talking about hands and feet being involved, if there's burns to the fingers, when we're beyond the cooling process and we're dressing it, it's recommended to place gauze in between the fingers or in between the toes and then wrap. That helps avoid that burned skin meshing with the other burned skin and causing issues when it comes time to take care of it when they get to the hospital. So keeping them separated helps reduce further injury. So we want to make sure we pad in between the fingers or pad in between the toes while we're dressing the wound.
That sounds horrible, dude. Just the thought of like the skin between your fingers getting melted together and then having to separate that.
Well, you'll be able to swim faster after.
Yeah, it definitely can produce that webbed appearance in between
You're
the
like a
fingers.
mer person at that point.
Mer person.
Where do you think they come from?
Yeah, looking for the upside.
Nature?
So, if we have something that's more of a major burn, a large surface area, so the more area that's burned, the deeper the burned, that's going to make it a major burn. So, in that case, we want to avoid the cooling of the burn because if we doing the cooling can cause hypothermia. So, large surface areas, really deep burns, get them away from the burn, dry sterile dressing or dry clean dressing because we may be limited in supplies. And again, make sure that the hands and feet are spaced or padded appropriately, and wrap them, and then keep them warm. It sounds a little counterintuitive to keep them warm after this type of incident, but their body's going to have a hard time regulating their temperature, and it's going to cause them to be cold because they're so burnt. Now, how do we differentiate between a large surface area and a small surface area? So when the deeper the burn, the more severe the burn, anywhere between 3 and 5% is going to kind of keep us in the smaller burn, minor burn area. And what's a percent? It's their hand. The palm of their hand is 1%.
Okay.
So if you think about our kids, the palm of their hand is 1% of their total body surface area. That's BSA. And when we talk about burns, we talk about it's a how much percentage of their body is burned. So what's the percentage of BSA? So it's we're going to rattle off a number that we're going to say, hey, there's in the EMS setting or healthcare setting, we're going to talk about, this patient has 9% BSA. That they're first degree or second degree or third degree, and the like I said, the deeper the burns, the more area it covers, the more severe it is. So
burns are the worst, dude. I can't think of any. I mean, I'd rather break a bone than get burned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, dude. That has to be the worst way, right? To like all the ways you can die, that probably has to be one of the worst.
I would yes, I would agree with you.
Yeah. Years ago, we had a guy that got, he was caught because he had broke into a house and he was in the garage and he was, trying to steal some stuff, and the neighbor saw him. And as the story goes, the guy was it was back in the 3-strike era. He had 2 felony convictions at the time. And he had, if he got a third one, he was going back to prison. And, he was in the garage and he took a gas can, doused himself with the gasoline, and lit himself on fire. And when we got there, he was in the driveway and he'd only been out for like a few minutes or even a minute. It was like the deputies had just put him out. They'd like patted him, doused him with the blanket to get the fire out. And no sooner did they finish that, we pulled up, and it was the single worst burn call in my career because he was north of like 80%.
I can't even
And it was,
imagine.
yeah, and second and thirds, and it was gnarly. It was the shriveled up black skin that it looks like it looked as if you had on uh, a latex glove, and you would run that over the campfire, and that had like
Oh,
compromised. It
Oh
broke and shriveled up.
no!
That's what we were looking at on multiple parts of his body, and it was gnarly.
Wasn't this
Wow.
on Faces of Death? I think it was Faces of Death.
There have
Remember
been
that?
plenty of
Speaking
people
of
have done
speaking
that.
of faces of death, let me tell you another story. I was working.
Oh, look at what I just did, guys. You're welcome.
So I was working. So this is when I was doing installs, and me and my buddy were
Oh,
installing
man.
and Matt, you know, like if you're air conditioning guys, you're constantly soldering stuff. And I don't know about you, Matt, but every time I took out the solder set, I burned myself somehow. Like I just, it was gonna happen. And
No, that's just you.
yeah, okay. So every
Go
time. But we were working in this crawl space, this interstitial space between two floors, and it was just enough for you to sit Indian style. And so we're sitting there with our legs crossed, and I got like 2 3-inch pipes. I got one here and then one here, and I got to weld these new valves and stuff in. So I've got a full torch set going, and
Where were those 3-inch pipes?
right here, right in front of my face. So I welded the top pipe first, we're using these big oxy-acetylene torch sets, and I get it all welded in. I'm like, yeah, it looks good. And then I bend forward to weld the bottom pipe, and rested my rested my forehead on the pipe right in front of me that I had just melted.
Oh my
Welded,
God.
and it was an immediate like, oh,
Yeah.
whoa, what was that? And so for like a good 3 weeks, I had like a full like 2-inch scab across my forehead from resting my head on a welded piece of pipe. That was
God.
that was the worst.
How are you still alive?
I
dude?
don't know, dude. I don't.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. You should be the boy in the bubble. You should have just lived in like a
Bubble Boy.
cage or
Bubble Boy is a great movie. Have you guys seen Bubble Boy?
No.
Oh
No.
God, it's a great movie, Bubble Boy.
No.
So yeah, that was one of the worst burns I'd had. I mean, I don't know.
I did a similar thing, brazing 2.5-inch copper above my head once, and you know it just takes the one time. You always start with the pipe furthest from you, you know, because so it was a line set, and again, you know, you have the 2 pipes. I brazed the first one, and then not thinking, went and reached over to get the one beyond, and I was doing all right for a minute, and then I forgot like what an idiot I was, and I just dragged my forearm on that front pipe. Oh yeah, that was a nasty blister. That was like a half a softball size blister after that. But that was it. That was the one time that happened to me.
I burned myself
Never
100
again.
times. 100 times. Okay, so go ahead, Joe. So what were we talking about?
So, you know, we talk about depth of the burn, the area that it occupies. You know, that so those contribute to the severity of the burns. Now, there are some places that just because it affects this area, it can be considered a critical burn. Now, remember, full thickness is that 3rd degree type burn. Now, if we have that type of injury to the hands, the feet, the face, the eyes, the ears, and believe it or not, people will get their genitalia burned. If we have a full thickness burn to any of those areas, then those are considered critical burns because of the functionality of those body parts. So, you know, even a partial thickness burn to those areas are significant. We need those people
Why are you laughing,
definitely need to be, you know, taken
laughing?
care of and taken to a medical facility or have 911 called to take care of them, because it's going to cause some intense pain and it could cause serious injuries. Now, we talked about that guy that I had who was working on the electrical panel, and that flashed. Now, when we have a burn that happens in the area of the face, one of the concerns for EMS folks or healthcare providers is that the potential is there that burn could have entered into the airway. So it could have gone up into the nose or through the mouth. And if that happens, there is a possibility that that burned airway, the mouth, nose, and the trachea, those areas could swell as a result of that hot gas or the flame making it in there. And with that swelling, it's going to cause them to have difficulty breathing. So things that we look for, if there's a burn that occurs at or near the face, especially like an arc flash, if you're looking at their eyebrows and their eyelashes, that gives a pretty good indication that the fire or the heat got near their face.
Oh, come on, Doc.
So
tell me, not all of us have burned our eyebrows off lighting a campfire. I've done it. When it first lights up, it goes whoosh. Whoa.
it just depends how much gas you put on it.
And you
All
lean,
of it.
You lean back and you're like, "Whoa! I can feel it. I can smell my eyebrows."
Well, in addition to those parts, I mean, those are just like very outward indicators that, hey, the heat was that close. But we're going to look more closely at the nostril hairs, so the hairs inside your nose. Look inside the mouth. Look for any type of charring or signs of burns in those areas. If they're coughing anything up, there may be like char in their sputum. So those are things that tell us in their saliva or in their mucus.
Might
Yeah,
want to
but
get that checked.
sputum
Might want to get
so-
that checked.
Sputum
This is a
sounds so
PG-13 podcast,
yucky. Why can't we say spit? Sputum. Like sputum sounds like so yucky.
I didn't drop an F-bomb.
No, I know, but you might as well have. Most of the people here don't know what sputum is, including me.
What did you call me?
That's gonna be our new insult. He's like a sputum.
So that's considered, those are critical type burns. Also deep burns, like I said, over a large area, anything over that 5% ish. Like I said, talked about the burns with the respiratory system. And then anytime we have a burn that goes all the way around the extremity or all the way around the body part, and that's what we call circumferential burns, like the circumference. So arms and legs and the chest, if with those type of burns, it's likely that it will cause restriction of blood flow, and it could have caused nerve damage. And those are other significant risks. And those also fall into that critical burn area. So, to kind of sum everything up, we talked about, the different sources of burns. We focused on the thermal or the heat type burn. We have the superficial or the first degree. We have the partial thickness, which is also the second degree. And remember that one can be, just a little bit into that dermis layer, or it could be most of the way through, almost to a third degree, or the full thickness where it's gone all the way through those different layers of the skin. Takeaways as far as what we're going to do to help them: always make it safe for them for early on. Make sure it's safe for you to help and get them away from the heat source. Stop the burning process. Remove the clothing and jewelry in the affected area. Protect the injury site with dry, sterile or clean dressings. If you're improvising, you use the best clean stuff that you have, and ultimately want to make sure we get them to help.
Question.
I've got a good question. No, hold on. Well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Most of the critical burns on this podcast are from Tim, and they're aimed at Cody. Do you have like a recommendation for salve or something that Cody could apply?
I have an ice pack in the fridge that I go get after every episode, just for my ego. I place it snugly on my ego and wrap it up in a blanket.
Is it the White Claw?
Yes.
Type?
Truly. He doesn't.
Truly.
Tammy likes the Truly bear.
Yeah, they're a Truly family here.
Yeah. A serious question though, because Matt was not serious.
That was serious.
It was serious. Rope burns. What about like rope burns or friction burns? Do we treat those the same way, or those? Because it's more of an abrasion than an actual heat burn. But is there like, what's the difference? Would we want to kind of do the same thing as far as treatment is concerned?
Yeah, that's a soft tissue injury, and the cool water there isn't necessarily going to cool the burn. Cool it. I mean, it may cool it, but it may also introduce and if the water's got any germs in it, it's the risk there could be counterproductive. But I would a rope burn like that. I would be treating it like a soft tissue injury, and we would use some. If we're on the trail, we're going to use some mild soap and water to help clean that up because obviously the rope has been
Yeah.
dragged through it. Try and clean that up a little bit, and then treat it like a soft tissue injury.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I could see like on a rope or a snatch strap or something like that where you're not wearing gloves or something. You can get a friction burn like that.
Yeah, well, put your damn gloves on.
I do. I wear gloves all the time. My hands are way too sensitive at this point in my life. Between the amount of lotion I've been using on my hands and the fact that I don't do manual labor anymore, like I have really soft, supple hands.
You have like Achilles tendons in your hands, maybe, possibly.
I wish, because I'd feel like I was a complete person at least.
What's the comp? What's the comp to the Achilles, but for your wrists? Is there one?
I'm sure there's a tendon that does the same
there's-
thing. Yeah.
Those Terminator tendons, from the movie, they all move.
Yeah.
Oh.
The carpal tunnel tendons.
Tendons.
Tendons. Carpal tunnel tendons. All right, cool. Well, Joe, thank you for sticking it out with actual information while we try to wreck it the whole time.
I don't think this one was that bad this
No,
time, Joe.
no.
We were pretty good.
We held back. I think there was plenty.
It was, yeah.
It was hard.
You mentioned lotion a lot. And
a lot of thickness, and it was hard.
a lot of dermal stuff. A
Yeah.
lot of thickness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we
I'm
did.
excited.
I will say that Tim in the chat room did hashtag full thickness about 20 times. And he constantly wanted to know if he could just pee on someone that's on fire. That's all he wanted to know is like, what kind of consent does he need if he could just pee on people? And I feel bad for
Well,
anybody in his general proximity.
we're not really going to go in the direction of like marine animal injuries because that's not really kind of where we go. But that's where Tim would be most likely to interject that whole let's pee on something.
So it's true.
I thought that was a myth. I thought peeing on a jellyfish sting was a myth.
Well, it's not in the first aid guidelines. I can tell you that. But that's always every time I teach a class.
What about
always
second
Yeah.
grade? Second or third grade? God,
The second
what
grade.
if I choose 12 rows?
Yeah, I think that was just made up by someone that was looking to pee on someone.
Exactly.
Hey, dude, you just got stung by a
boy.
jellyfish. I heard. Let's try it and see what happens.
Clear out, everybody.
Watch out! I gotta give him
or
some
don't.
first aid.
Or don't.
Well,
Huddle up.
so everybody, if you haven't already, go to Foothill Safety on Instagram. Follow Joe as he's getting his Foothill Safety stuff up and running. He is, obviously knows what he's talking about, and he is an asset to have on the trail at any given time because, and we've talked about it. There's been times where, like, anytime Joe's not around, we've said, you got to be careful because Joe's not here to fix.
Exactly.
Joe's not here to fix
doing
anything
that.
that we do wrong.
There's
So,
no reset button.
no.
No do-overs.
No, but thanks, dude. Thanks for coming on and sharing this, and I appreciate it. And for those of you that haven't already, go follow Joe on Instagram, and then we'll have him on again for more trail safety stuff as we go. So, anything else before we cut out, Joe?
Nah, we're good.
All right, you guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. You have a good night, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, live feed is still going. Cool, Joe. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And then I'll give you a call this week about what we were talking about earlier as far as the weekend's concerned, and
Okay.
and let you know. But like I said, I think the plan is to be up at my mom and dad's this weekend.
Okay.
All right, dude. Well, thanks a lot. Have a good
All right, bro.
night, and we will catch up with you next time.
All right, guys. Be good.
Bye.
Thanks, man. We're on a break right now. For a minute.
Do you need a break?
Just 2 minutes.
You got tinkles?
Yeah.
You gotta make tinkles?
Poo poo.
Maddie got to make?
Yeah, that's funny.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, Tim was definitely on fire. I have not. So I've seen all but the last 10 minutes of Matt's Nissan experience, and I'm not sure where the poo tag is. I'm hoping that comes up in the next conversation. So was that a thing on the?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That must have been at the very end.
Towards the end, I think where you were at, it's like right there.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Come on, dude. How come when you were on the Nissan Nation? Oh, you can't hear me. Put your headphones in, and they go in your ears. And there you go. How come when you were on the Nissan Nation show, you drank water, and now you're on our show and you're on the premium. You're on the platinum plan.
I'm trying to get us a sponsor.
Oh, you need the White Claw, bro. You need to put the White Claw up.
Nah.
All right, let's pull up the.
We got a lot to talk about,
Got some stuff.
but not really.
No.
I mean,
Are you guys ready?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna start at 102. All right, so for those of you that weren't aware, Matt is in the process of opening up his free agent contract, and apparently he's shopping for a better deal than what he's got here, Jose. I mean, it starts with him being a guest host on another show that's better than ours, and then decides he can't be bothered to come in the studio the next week.
For some reason, he's going to be unable to make it.
I feel like there's a negotiation in our future, and I'm not sure what it's going to be.
You know what, guys? It's not so much like I'm looking around or whatever, but I feel for like other free agents, I have to try and get the best deal. It's just like when A-Rod was like a free agent. He's like, I don't want to leave Texas or I don't want to leave Seattle, but I got to get the most money for the players behind me and below me. So that's all it is. Like I'm just trying to.
So you were doing it for us.
You know,
you're doing it for us.
Indirectly, you're doing it for us.
No, not. I mean, I guess for you guys, but you know, I just gotta keep a lookout and see what I can get. I gotta take care of my family, you know, and make sure that the generations behind me are taken care of.
All right. Well, you got to do what you got to do. But
yeah, Matt, you got to do what you got to do.
Hey, was that a good appearance last night?
It was.
I mean,
so in all seriousness,
I'm sorry. Did you want to mention that? I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
No. We definitely want to talk about it. So Matt was on the Nissan Nation Productions live Sunday yesterday, so on August 2nd. And Dave and Danny had him on, and they talked about all things Nissan and all kinds of I love the fact that you brought the randomness with you. Like that.
Are you sure Matt was on the show? Because he kept saying Cody.
Yes, yeah. Dave did call you Cody like 20 times. And
but I did notice, and like Tim just mentioned, money was getting thrown at that show. Like, all night long, like holy shit! Wow.
And then
Tim should
the
get a cut of that, by the way, because you know he was comedy gold in the chat line. But
he and then Dave misspelled your username.
Matt's Volva.
It's Voltia.
Volva.
Well, it started off as Matt's Voltia, and then Matt said that was the Italian version. The Italian version of Matt.
That was my counterpart in Italy. Matt's Voltia.
Matt's Voltia.
Oh, that's right. That was pretty good. He drives a Fiat 500.
500, yep. So Matt's Voltia, and then they started pronouncing it Matt's Volva. That's why the screen now. So tonight's screen says Matt's Volva on his screen for the live feed.
I like it.
It was good. Like, so the one thing that I took away from it, like I said, I still have like 5 or 10 minutes left in the show. When Dave and Danny were on our show, the chemistry was great. Those guys are funny. We had a great time. And you could tell, like, when you were on the show, it was the same. Like you guys were just, everybody got along. It was the timing was there. It was a really, really good appearance. And thank you for dropping the Trail Chaser name a couple times and our sponsors and making sure that you represented appropriately. Your contract has been fulfilled. Good job.
Okay, yeah. So negotiations. That you notice, I wasn't drinking last night, but tonight, like, whatever.
I
Like,
thought so.
back,
As a possible future of mine,
back to lower expectations.
as a possible future of mine, the Fontana water. What's the quality of Fontana water?
It's high quality. It's
All
high.
right.
It's got lots of minerals.
Okay.
It's got vitamins and minerals.
Dude, yeah, if you like looking
right.
at your water,
Yeah.
like seeing what you drink, yeah.
It's as long as if you like crunchy water.
Oh, the
This is the dude
Fontana's
for
your
you.
town.
Come on, dude.
Oh yeah,
Dude, Matt,
Very-
you and I are the same age, dude. We were raised on tap water
On
and
crunchy
hose
water?
like Ontario
dude.
tap water.
I was on hose water too.
yeah, Ontario tap water. Like that was the you didn't. I still drink. Yeah, hose water, dude. Outside.
Dude, when I water the plants outside,
yeah, you still yeah.
yeah.
Who's water? Sorry.
It's spelled HOES.
Hose water.
Yes, I know. Every time you say it, it makes me laugh.
So the how was it? How was the show? How do you think it went?
Well, I think it went great. I mean, again, we have that same kind of vibe, just kind of a loose, comical. The first time they were on our show, I had that same vibe. Like, oh, we're just gonna goof around. We'll talk about whatever you want to get into the frontier, or they started talking about the new frontier, and I'm like, what, dude? I'm not the Nissan Nation podcast. I hope you're not coming to me for any kind of real information. I've seen a couple of photos. It looks cool. We kind of broke that down for a minute, but I knew eventually we were going to break it down to like poop jokes and just
Definitely got there.
silly juvenile humor, and that's right where that's my role. Like, hey guys, let's talk about peeing on people and cracking jokes about Cody and and they were down with that, so it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, it looked like it was a good time. And if you guys are not already, go follow Nissan Nation Productions. Then go over and follow All Terrain Nation. All Terrain Nation.
I think so, yeah,
All
it's
Terrain
a new
Nation
channel.
on YouTube. That's the new
Yeah.
channel. They're gonna.
I was glad I was able to help them kick off that their
Good.
new network. Give that a nice kick.
Or a deficit to start off with.
Or then again, I appreciate that they allowed me to be the last representative of whatever. But yeah,
No,
sorry.
I mean, they had talked about having you on the show when they were on our show, a month or two ago.
For a few weeks, yeah. It was just kind of touch and go.
And now that I
and
think
then-
about that, did Dave just reach out to you and say, "Hey, you want to be on the show?" Because none of that was run through me.
Oh, I didn't know we had
Yeah,
to go through
that
you.
was-
Read your contract. Read your contract. I
I don't-
get negotiation.
I don't
I do all the negotiations and I get a cut.
I don't read shit, so I consider that shit like side work.
I don't
Like,
read
oh,
in
man,
English, bro. You gotta send it to me in Spanish.
Can you come put in a furnace for me? Absolutely. Keep your mouth shut. And somehow you found out. Though Tim was giving you guys shit last night. How come I'm the only one on here like supporting you on this podcast?
Jose said that
I wasn't home.
Oh,
Yeah, I wasn't home.
yeah. Well, Tim, first of all, you got nothing to do.
Thank-
I mean, let's be honest.
Tim, thank you for supporting. And dude, he was killing it on their timeline just like he kills it on ours. So
You know what we need to do?
thank you.
What are these episodes? All right. I'm afraid to even say this. I'm totally, this is dumb for me to save this live, but I'm going to say it. We're going to have an episode where Tim, Rob, and somebody else sit in for us and do this show. We'll write a script and let Tim Mud Raider. Yes, Tim, Rob, and Mud Raider will sit in on the show and do the show for us. And and oh man, when's April Fool's?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll probably listen to that. That'd probably be my favorite episode.
It would be. It'd be second only to the wife's episode because that's still the best episode of our show.
I like that he did that. I was texting or on Instagram with Tim about like, I don't know, man. I'm supposed to like call in at 8 p.m. Central. I think that's got something to do with farmers or something. I don't know how to figure that out. I'll
Central
Google that shit
America?
on-
No, that's daylight savings. That's for
whatever.
farmers.
I'll do that shit on Sunday. I'll figure it out.
You just logged in at like noon and just sat there and waited.
I did. I hit him up like at 5 o'clock. I'm all, so we're like doing this pretty soon, right?
Exactly how many hours from right
Yeah.
now?
Can I
If
get
you
a
had- If you had to
countdown?
give a minute countdown from right now on when we're gonna start,
What would that be?
what do you think that would be?
What time zone? What time zone is this?
No, you need your old peachy folder that had the time zones on the inside flap, so you can know what the time zones were.
I didn't know that the Peachy had any.
Come on,
Yeah,
Valuable.
dude. I mean, do
Peachy-
you actually read those like
peachy
graphs
folders.
and stuff? Of course you did.
Come on, peachy folders. Everybody knows what peachy fold, right? Those were the best.
True. You had to color them in and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
I miss peachy folders.
Well, fun fact about time zones and daylight savings time. Tim's state, they don't honor that daylight savings. They're like, it's 8 p.m. in the summer here.
They barely-
It's 8 p.m. in the winter.
They barely
It
have
doesn't
running
change.
water in Underguard. They're like, look, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. It's hot as balls.
Yeah, look,
so
it's either
what's
really
the
hot
point?
here
Yes.
or
It's-
super cold.
what time
All
is
right.
it? It's 110 out.
The
That's
sun's
what-
out. It's
yeah.
a good day.
You measure.
Hey, what-
You
Hey,
measure.
what time is it? Sun's out.
Yeah.
Sun's out.
You measure
what
time by
time is it now?
temperature. Like,
Yeah.
Dark.
yeah.
Here's 2 times: light and dark.
yeah, and it's hot as balls all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
they can't be bothered with math. So well, seriously, it was a good show. I watched it today. Thanks to Danny and Dave for having you on and for talking about us. I appreciate it, and those guys are great. So go follow them, All Terrain Nation and Nissan Nation Productions, and help them do what they need to do over there. Although they were, it was pretty bagging. He was bagging on us pretty hard about only having 700 subscribers or 300 subscribers on YouTube.
No, we have no.
That's true.
He just said we can't believe that we haven't passed 1,000 yet.
We don't push.
We don't
Yeah,
even
we don't
talk about
really
these.
make it an effort, right? Like
I mean, we don't even advertise that we do this every Monday.
Well, because you know why that is. I'm afraid that it's not going to happen. Like two things. I'm always worried that a guest is going to.
Well, the guest part I understand, but we still end up doing something.
Yeah, so we should start making it a 6:30 for sure. Put it on your calendar deal. Even if it's
Yeah, they asked me last night, like, so like Monday nights, what time exactly do you guys
I
start?
heard you.
I don't know, it's like
Oh, like-
6 or something.
Sometimes it's 6:30. We've started at 5. I don't know, man. You're asking.
I wait for a
you're
text from
asking
Cody.
the wrong guy.
Cody.
I'm not Cody.
Yeah.
This is not. And I had to keep telling. No, I'm not Cody. I'm Matt.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm a
I don't know those-
project manager.
Yeah.
what do you guys? Yeah. What do you guys have coming up? Shit, man. I don't know.
It's like,
I'm
bro.
not Cody.
It's like, bro. I
Like, you
get
should
there.
have-
I barely get there just to record. I don't know who's the guest
I don't know
tonight,
what's
dude.
Man, I told him I'm the diva of our podcast. I just
No, you're the eye
Just-
candy.
Yes, you
I'm the eye
did. You
candy
did
of
say
the-
you were eye candy.
yeah. That's right. So yeah, it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, good.
But I knew I'd have fun on that.
Yeah,
on
and
that
we
show,
got to get Danny on one of our trips. We did a trip not long ago. It was a total last minute, like, what do you want to do? And we did it and posted a couple pictures. And he was like, "Where's the invite, bro?" And I'm like, "Dude, you're in like Northern California. I didn't think you'd want to run to Big Bear real quick." He's like, "I'm down at any time. I'm down. I don't care." So,
Well, dude, he drove across the country with like two random people.
yeah. So we'll.
But he did come up with a magical rock.
That's
Yes.
true.
I'm all, dude. Last night, I'm all, man. There's a lot of pressure on me. You came onto our show. You came out with like Stairway to Heaven right out the gate, like just blowing. Came out with the hits. I don't have any stories like that, dude. I don't have anything. So it was a lot of pressure on me trying to perform.
You did a great job, sir.
Thank you.
You represented the TCP well. I'm happy, impressed. So speaking of the TCP, I think Matt, this is going to be where Matt steps out for the remainder.
All right,
of
guys,
the
I'm going to go ahead and go back to the bathroom and go ahead and talk.
Matt's going to step out for the remainder of the episode. So last week we did an episode where I talked about riding a bicycle and how much I enjoy it. And Jose is riding bicycles, and Matt wants nothing to do with bicycles. And I am flat out just floored. I'd like amazed at the amount of feedback we've had on the bicycle episode. It has been, no joke, more feedback than any of the other episodes we've had, I think.
Yeah, dude, it's I was very surprised of all like the emails or texts that we got from listeners.
Instant message. Yeah, I'll go through some of them here. So Elam, Easy Up, immediately went to the blog post and said, "First to Ford, now spandex and taint pillows, gives tip of the spear a whole new meaning." And then, but the backstory there is then Elam was sending me text messages like, "What do you think about this bike? I've been looking for a bike. Like, honey, I want to go riding. What do you think about this one?" And then Tim left a voicemail, and we are going to play that voicemail right now. So Tim, is Tim still in the chat so he can defend himself? There he is. Okay. So here, this
right
is,
on cue.
Here's Tim's voicemail. Oh, damn it! Where did I put it? Oh, okay. Edit.
Check your spandex.
Oh, here it is, right here. Here we go.
Thanks a lot, Cody. A couple of days ago, I was just fine, sitting on my couch, being a fat bum. Then I listened to last week's episode, and next thing you know, I'm on Amazon buying a bike pump to pump up the tire on my wife's bike. And now, 5 a.m. on a Saturday, I'm riding my wife's bike around the neighborhood, and it's not near as exciting as you make it sound. So, anyway, where do I buy this taint pillow shorts? All right, later.
Was he riding the bike as he was calling in?
Yes. And the funny thing is, he sent a text message.
Was he riding the bike going uphill? And
yeah. So no, he sent the voicemail. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. I was up because I was going on a ride with 81 Scrambler Mike, our buddy Mike Torres. He invited me for a bike ride, so I went Saturday morning. And I'm sitting there on the couch getting dressed, and I get this message that says we just got a voicemail, and I saw that it was Tim, and I sent him a text, and I'm like, "Have fun on your ride, dude." And that's what I was saying earlier. I'm picturing Tim on his wife's bike with a little white basket in front, and Toto sitting in the basket. I bet his wife's bike has pink tassels, and he's just like cruising around town. Come on, Mike. Tim, I want a picture. I want a picture of Tim on his wife's bike riding around the neighborhood with tassels and a basket.
Tim, you opened yourself up to this counterattack. Cody's finally excited that he can get you with. But you know what? Kudos, granola bars to you, sir, for getting out and getting some exercise on Saturday. I think that's great.
It was good job, Tim. Let's get more videos of Tim riding bikes.
And there's nothing wrong with tassels.
No,
tassels are great.
I wasn't saying anything derogatory about tassels. I myself have several tassels that I don't usually wear on the show. But it's you can check them out.
Well, you do, but yeah, that's below the camera.
We got an email from John Gamble, longtime friend of the show. He said that he'd been in mountain biking back in its beginning. He believes he first bought his first mountain bike in 1985-ish. And then he was talking about, he said, "I've got 10 years on you, so lighten up on being the old stuff." So John is out there 10 years older than I am riding. But he did address something. He did say when Jose was talking about the cube, the cube, the random cube, the Space Tamale cube, when you said that, he did. He said the so-called NASA photo of the black cube is fake, but NASA did get another robot on its way to Mars. ULA rules. SpaceX is the Kia of low Earth orbit. John works for a aeronautics and space company and he sent us some stickers. Evan, our buddy Evan, who we've hung out with a couple times, he's been on some trips with us. He says, great podcast, makes me want to get back on my bike. I've had a mountain bike since the 80s or 90s. I still have my first full suspension bike from the 90s hanging out in the garage. He goes on to say, I haven't ridden in a few years now, tore ligaments in both my wrists and blew out my knee. Since I'm a machinist and I use my hands, I can't afford to completely destroy my wrists with any more crashing. This is why I'm building a 4Runner to be a rock crawler now. I need some kind of safe adrenaline fix. That part scares me, like, because I know that's going to be me. I know I'm going to be all kinds of broken as we go forward. But he does say, let me know if you get a mountain bike. I may just have to dust off mine and go for a ride with you guys. Of course, I'll be huffing and puffing, and you will have to constantly wait for me. You're giving yourself, you're not giving yourself, or you're giving us too much credit.
Yeah, dude.
Let Matt know that dirt bike riders, especially people that have raced, do very well on mountain bikes. Reading terrain and going fast on dirt bike transfers big time to mountain bikes.
There you go, Matt.
He raced motocross too.
Yeah, I've never raced anybody like.
No, but you do. You know how to get out. You know how to get after it on a dirt bike. You'd be good. Our buddy Sergio on Facebook.
When's the last time you saw me on a dirt bike?
It's been a while.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the same. It's not like it used to be.
You'd probably be better off on a mountain bike. Our buddy Sergio on Facebook sent me a video that said, this is the perfect bike for Matt. And it was a video of the Jeep e-bike. And I was like, no, that's still too much pedaling for him.
Oh, no, this has to be like 0 pedals on the bike.
Yeah.
And just like a motorcycle.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
there you go.
Adam Shanley on Facebook said, we will for sure have to hook up then. I was talking about getting a bike. He said, I'm just now getting back into mountain biking. I mean, it's been about a decade for me, but I used to love it. Keenan869 on Instagram. We went back and forth a little bit, and he said we should do a off-road hiking, mountain biking festival weekend, trail chaser event.
Dude, you're assuming we can do all those?
No, yeah, we can't do any of those. We can't do any of those in a consecutive, like, month, like, much less.
I can barely do off-roading, barbecue, beer drinking.
Yeah.
Like,
and he wants to
like
mountain
max.
bike, hike, and like whatever, like rock crawl, like climb rocks.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have oxygen tanks and a first aid tent. Like,
The only thing I want to add to what I just said is like rock throwing, maybe, and then that's
once
it.
You got one throw.
good left-handed throw in you, and you're ruined after that.
If I warm up, I might have 2 or 3, but we don't have time for warm-ups.
So then I get a little bit concerned after this, right? So you guys will remember Rich when I play his voicemail. We got 2 voicemails from Rich and then several consecutive emails. I'll explain in a minute. Let's start with the first voicemail.
Cody, Matt, Jose, ladies, and kids. I just want to say hi. This is Richard. Don't remember if you met me. Oh gosh, it was the Stone Brewery thingy. And I came up from Sacramento with my wife and our beautiful little baby girl, and met my sister up there. And we came by and hung out and talked for a little bit. Just want to give you guys an update. It's so freaking funny. Listening to this podcast now with Cody talking about his medical history and his bike and how he's conquering whatever. He's conquering. Good. Yeah, buddy. I just broke my freaking tibia right above my ankle. It's on the joints, going in for surgery on Wednesday. And before I started listening to the podcast, I'm like, I'm going to need one of those knee scooters. I think I'm going to call Cody. Cody, hook me up, bro. Where do I go? How do I do this? Where do I get one of those? Do you rent them? Do you buy them? Do you rent to own?
So Rich met us at the Stone Brewery, and at that time I was still on my knee scooter within a cast. And so Rich, the deal is you can rent them from medical like places, but like the first time I had surgery, it was like $120 or something to rent it.
Well, how much is it to buy it?
So the second time I found one on Amazon for $110,
All right.
and I figured there's a good chance I'm gonna need it a third time, so I just bought one the second time. I still have it. Presley calls it the Trail Chaser scooter because I put a Trail Chaser sticker on the knee scooter thing. So sometimes she wants to ride the Trail Chaser scooter. So, Rich, my if you can't, my advice is to look on Amazon first. You're probably going to
Insurance doesn't cover that.
I'm sure to an extent, but but there's a minimum. There's a minimum for like anything more than a week or whatever. But if you're going to have it for more than a week, it's going to cost. It just was worth $100 on Amazon to buy it and have it and not have to worry about it.
It's true.
And but yeah, knee scooters are the way to go, man. Do not the crutches are not a good thing. So
Didn't you have like hip problems after that? Like
no,
oh
it was my
hips are
it
all
was my back. It was my back. I dislocated a rib in my back from all because I was
your hips, your back.
I'm a dumbass. So I was
Like a
still
saw.
I was still doing all the stuff I wanted to do on the scooter. Like I was still like tooling around and whatever, and I was like carrying things in one hand and scooting in another, and I ended up. I didn't even know you could do this, but the ribs when they connect to your spine, they sit in a cartilage socket, and I pulled one of my ribs out of that cartilage socket somehow, and I thought I was going to die. That was the worst pain. It was a July 4th weekend, and I remember telling Tammy, I just want to die. I can't even breathe, and I ended up finding a chiropractor that jammed it back into place, and it was.
Did he? Hold on. Did he waft like some crystals over you?
Did he use
Well,
the
and then
magnets?
like
I will tell
some
you
magnets.
that I did like 3 different massages trying to thinking it was a pinched nerve or something. So I did like
All right. Did you get another region massage?
no, just the back, just the back. And then and then when I went to
I don't know how they do it. You know,
I went to the
Never mind. Go on.
chiropractor and he was like, "Oh,
Sorry.
you got a rib out of place." And I'm like, "I didn't even know ribs could get out of place.
Yeah, dude, it's
I
something.
think
I don't
it would
think it's
be
something
hot.
that get out. That are.
I thought it was just attached. I didn't realize." And man, he like he popped
Was he
that thing-
hot?
he was big and sexy. He was big, brown, sexy like Jose. So imagine
But why'd you
Jose-
take off all your clothes?
Imagine Jose like straddled over your body while you're laying down face
all
down,
the time.
and he's pushing with all that pressure.
And he's
All the
whispering
time.
into your ear as he's doing it.
He said, "This is gonna hurt you. This is gonna hurt you more than it hurts me."
At first it'll hurt, but then you'll like it.
He says, "You're gonna feel a little bit of pressure here. Take a deep breath."
All right. Hold on.
Okay, so back to the voicemail, Rich. So go to Amazon, buy yourself a knee scooter.
But anyways, I'm so glad you're on the
or
bike,
don't.
man. Love it. Keep pounding it. Lay off on the spandex. I think, maybe give it another 500 miles, then put the spandex on just to save us all the train wreck. I really enjoy listening to you guys, and I can't wait to hook up with you again, be it in Southern California, if you guys ever want to venture up north. So some great spots to adventure, and we're carrying on. Since I last saw you, put on the shitty 2-inch Mopar lift. I don't like it. I don't know. I'm looking at icons, a little pricey. Metal Cloak, yeah, they're local. I can save some money by picking it up instead of having it shipped. But then there's the money thing. I gotta save up some dough. But keep up the good work, fellas. And I can't wait to hear about Taint what? And what, space tacos? Space tacos. I think we need to talk to Captain Kirk about space tacos. I bet he's an expert.
Oh, he knows all about that.
All right, fellas, I'm going to turn back on the podcast, hang up, and cheers.
Yeah, Captain Kirk definitely knows about space tacos. So that was voicemail 1 from Rich. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. Was a very good, lucid voicemail.
It's I gotta say, he had mentioned Icon a bit pricey. You get what you pay for, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
so we've talked about it, right? Like, look, he went with you would think a Mopar lift is like, all right, dude, this has to be legit. I mean, it's factory.
For what it is.
I don't know.
For what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
exactly.
It may be the best 2-inch puck spacer.
That's true.
You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
It may be legit for.
But I think fundamentally, by having the puck and it's not optimal, right?
No, it's not for off road use. If it's just like, hey, I want to fit some 35s or 37s and I want a little bit of clearance, yeah, it's probably fine. But depending on what you're going to do with that,
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? So that was the first voicemail from Rich, and then we got a second one.
Apparently, I have too much time on my hands. I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry, guys. Still love you. I'm not a stalker. Like I said, too much time on my hands. Adventure on.
So then all of a sudden,
That sounds like a Friday night.
Yeah, dude.
no, I will tell you. I'll tell you.
11:45 phone call.
I'm still gonna
You
wear
know,
your
these
skin
guys
one day.
are great.
No, I mean I'll tell you what it is because we
You
got.
got home from work and
Well,
you just started
so-
popping tops.
No. In his first email, he
What's the
said that
podcast?
he just broke his ankle. He said that he had broke his tibula.
Oh, he's
You got
on that
nothing better to
oxy.
do.
No, yeah, nothing better to do. And then we got shortly after these voicemails, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 more emails. But you could tell he was doing the text to talk to the speech to text emails. And at one point, Rich, I dig you, I love you, man. This is I have to share this. This is fantastic. So he goes on. He talks about how he grew up on a mongoose and like this is so like patchwork, and this is how I know what's going on. Like at first I was concerned, and he was talking about riding his bike, and then he's like, yeah, I broke my leg on Monday stepping out of the curb at a job site. Isn't that a sexy story? I got to spice that up. And then he goes on to talk about his girl. She's a year and a half and she's an adventurer. And then he says the Norco is obviously kicking in. Ha.
Exactly.
And then he says, give Matt and Jose a hug. Okay. Matt, I think you would be arrested by the COVID cops were he to give me as many hugs as he did at Stone last year.
He was probably crying in the last email, reminiscing.
Yeah. And then he said this email's scrambled, and then he's all of a sudden it just the F word.
I like trail
No,
chasers.
all of a sudden it's the F word in all caps with 3 exclamation points. And he says, love your babies. Don't know what that means.
All right.
And then he says, triathlon, I'm in. And then he said, it's been a fantasy for mine for 30 years. He says, I'm 47. So he's right in our age group. He talked about having a KHS aluminum hardtail, which Jose and I actually just talked about today. But he's ready to go. It was at first, like I said, he says, commit to it. I can run, bike, and swim. Just got to do them more to recapture your youth. It's just there's so many random things. And then the very last one is rim tape! Exclamation point.
You know, I did listen to that like 1 minute stretch.
Yeah.
Like time.
Oh,
or
it was
whatever.
stupid.
That was pretty great.
It's
That was pretty great.
stupid. It's stupid. But no, seriously, Rich is a good guy, and we met him at Stone Brewery, and it sounds like he's sitting at home catching up on podcasts, and the Norco is kicking in, and Norco does different things to different people. It makes me a little loopy, but it will not put me to sleep. I will if I do Norco, I will not go to sleep, but I will just feel groggy and crappy the whole time.
I've never done any of those.
Oh man, it's the worst.
What?
No, dude,
Oh,
when you're
yeah.
that much of a man, like seriously, you don't need painkillers.
That's true, Jose. But myself, a Norco and 2 Bud Lights.
Oh,
Sleepy
dude.
time. Sleepy time. It's not even sleepy time. It's hibernate.
Dude,
Like,
can I
you're
tell
just-
you? I tried.
Don't do
that.
anything the next day.
Hold on. Disclosure. Do not try any of this at home. We are not medical professionals. And Joe, if you're still listening, stay clean, Jose. No, so you know, Matt, you know me. I don't drink. I don't like anything
you're-
more than Tylenol.
That's bullshit. Because, dude, every time we go out camping, you always have that
I
that
have
ingredient drink. That
I may
it
have
tastes
a
like
drink. I have a drink.
No, dude, you make your own drinks.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I don't drink regularly. How's
Yeah,
that? I don't
it's
drink.
not. Dude, it's like vitamins and junk. There's probably supplements in there. I don't know.
But I
it's
have,
nothing.
There's
It's
stem
not
cells
great.
in there trying to.
I have tried, Matt. I can't remember. I think it was the last ankle surgery. I had tried, like I'd taken the painkiller and I could not fall asleep. And I
You
tried
should
to
just kept
drink.
taking them until you fell asleep.
I tried to drink some
For a
alcohol
minute.
Yeah.
to see if that would make me pass out, and it didn't. It did. It was the worst, dude. But usually, like both of the ankle surgeries, I had to take painkillers for the first day, and then I was fine after that because I hate I'd rather be in pain
Yeah.
than feel the way they make me feel.
Well, I've never been on them, so I wouldn't know.
Oof, they're wicked. They're wicked, wicked.
I would say don't do it
But do
unless
it.
you know about
But
it. And
do
then
it.
it's like, oh man, well I just broke my ankle, but at least I'll get some Norcos for like a week.
No, man, none of that is good.
No, I take that back. That's not at all.
The views and opinions from Matt's Volva are the
Matt's
express.
Volva's
The
opinions.
the views and opinions of Matt's Volva are fully representative of the Nissan Nation
Hey,
Productions podcast.
I'm sorry, it's Matt's Voltia.
Well, yeah.
I came in. I'm really not actually at Matt's house. I'm in Italy right now.
That would be cool.
It's my proxy. I'm his
got it.
proxy.
Matt's Volva. Okay. Well, the only other piece of news that I caught briefly that I wanted to mention was, I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm sure Matt didn't, but Jose may have seen it. That the Ford Ranger Raptor looks like it's coming to the States in 2021. Matt, how excited are you? Yeah, speaking of, you know what? Screw you. You and the Nissan Nation guys just sat there and made fun of me the whole time about my Ford, and you were like, whatever, that's what we do. It's cool.
Yeah,
You're like,
you,
well, I'm telling you.
exactly. Why do you think they had me on the show? Like, hey, you want to come on and talk some trash about Ford? Absolutely. Can I throw in some Cody trash talk? If you want.
There was a
What
guys.
time?
Guys, if you don't get enough Cody trash talk from Tim, Matt, and Jose on this show, and Rob and Mud Raider,
yeah.
matter of fact, all of you, screw all of you. If you don't get enough Cody trash talk, go listen to the Nissan Nation episode with Matt on it. It was basically a shit talking session about me.
Yep.
You were invited to go back. I'm sure they're going to give you a call and you can talk as much trash as you want about me and Jose or whatever.
But you guys are such good guys. I would never do
That are on
that.
right now, well, I guarantee you probably transfer right over to their show, and it'll be pretty much the same thing.
I have nothing bad to say about my co-hosts. They're amazing, wonderful people, and my life wouldn't be complete without them.
It wouldn't?
No,
Okay.
and I'm gonna cry.
We'll be right back.
We'll be back in just a minute. Just a short break. All right. Well, look, dude, that was it was cool that you got to do that, and thanks to Joe K for coming on the show tonight and giving us some. Again, man, I like that guy. He does it every time. He comes on, and I'm sure he's got a full script, and he's ready to do like some serious knowledge dropping, and we mess it up. We completely mess it up. But he does it every time, and we appreciate it. We've been having some conversations in the background with Nexon, talking about some stuff that we want to do for the upcoming year. So I'm hoping next week we have some of that ironed out and we can make some announcements on some potential trips. What we'd like to do is, Mud Raider, I have my taint pillow. You just can't see it. I am hoping that we can plan out some trips.
Behind his tassels.
Yes. Plan out
That's
some,
for his OnlyFans page.
Yes. My fans only page is very, very different than Matt's. But I mean, depending on what society looks like, and we want to do some trips between now and the end of the year, and kind of keep them in small groups. Local one-day trips, maybe a couple overnight trips. But we will put as we get those dates announced and we get that stuff solidified, we'll make it available for those of you that want to join us to register. So I will, once they're identified, we'll talk about them on the show, and we'll also put it out in the newsletter. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, you can do so over at trailchasers.net. You said that we had a review, Jose. Let's knock that one out.
Oh,
real
yeah.
quick.
Sorry.
No worries, no worries. Apparently we had
We have a new review.
a new review that Jose will read because I have not seen it yet. And if you have not done so already, go to wherever reviews are possible and give us a review.
Yeah, so this one came in last Thursday, titled "Love These Guys." It was a 5-star review. It's from user Shanley929.
Nice.
It reads, "I look forward to listening to these guys every week. From conspiracy theories to off-road adventures, you can see the true friendship these guys have. Keep it up, gentlemen."
Nice. Thank you, Shanley. Appreciate that. I've interacted with him a couple times on Facebook.
Oh,
He
okay.
follows us on Facebook. Yeah. He's one of the guys that gave us some feedback on the bikes and said he's ready to go for a ride whenever we are.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah, if you guys don't mind, go give us a review, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Instagram and wherever else you can find us. Coach.
Anything else you want them to do?
Just whatever. Just do some stuff. Just do some stuff for us. We appreciate it. Whatever you feel like doing, that's fine. All right. Anything else, guys? Anything you want to do before we wrap up?
Nah, that's it.
You good? Matt, are you going to grace us with your presence next week?
You know what? I'll have my agent give you guys a
that
call.
depends if the contract gets signed.
Yeah, I'm not in control of that. Again, I just let my people speak to your people, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, I have a positive. I'm getting positive vibes. So yeah, probably hometown discount. Always.
He just sounds like he just turned into Nuke LaLoosh right there on Bull Durham.
Right.
Like just got to take it one day at a time.
No, that's like every sideline interview right after the game.
That's the joke. Have you seen Bull Durham?
No.
Oh, so
No.
the movie Bull Durham.
Oh.
There's an older ball player that's trying to teach this new up and coming guy about what to say in front of reporters, and every time it's just gotta get out there with a do my best and one day at a time.
Yeah, but that's what like Kobe used to
Hey,
say.
yeah.
That's what LeBron says.
Just trying to help the team out.
Just trying to help the team out.
Right,
Yeah.
helping the team
I love
out.
the city of LA. I love sitting in traffic. You just gotta slather it up.
Yeah.
No, man.
Cool. All right, guys. Well,
Ball player.
yes. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Bye.
Ah, that's funny.
All right. Hold on. Stopping the recording now. All right. I'm getting better at positioning things so I can respond to these yahoos in the chat when they start bagging on me. It's easier when Joe's talking or somebody else is talking, and I don't have to be driving the conversation. I can respond. I didn't catch all of it, but everybody, hey guys, thank you for joining us on the live feed. We love having you on there. Appreciate it, and we're gonna be doing some more of this stuff. We're going to try to drive the YouTube stuff a little bit more, I think, in the future.
No, we're not.
So if you guys have some ideas, let us know. All right, we are going to end the live feed now. And everybody, thank you so much. Have a great night. We will talk to you next time.